Hello. So here we are, 16 degrees, and we've got a pair of bloody shorts on. Anyway, it must be global warming. Now, I made a video just a few days ago now, and I called it something like a bimbo in the climate or something like that. It seems I've ruffled a few bloody feathers. Well, that's naughty of me to have my own ideas, my own opinions. It's very naughty. One gentleman said, it's clear you know absolutely fuck all. Oh, well, that's true. I know nothing about climate change. Nothing. I don't profess to be anything to do with the climate. I don't know anything about it. All I can do is look at things and talk about things from my own perspective, my own life, what I've seen, witnessed, experienced. That's all I can do. So I'm not an expert, and in that case I know fuck all. Ferns. Don't know if they're called ferns in real life, because I don't know. So I've ruffled a few feathers. So what? Global warming, it's my take on what's going on. I have lived for 26 years. I have lived for 60 bloody long years, 60. And I've seen all sorts and heard all sorts over the years, which was my point of the video. Nothing has ever happened, ever. Doesn't matter what they say, the ice caps are going to melt within 4 years. No, they're not, and they haven't, and they won't. It's going to be boiling hot. No, it's not, and it won't. You know, this is happening, that's happening. We're going to be underwater. No, it's not. Sea levels are rising. No, they're not. And it goes on and on and on, and it's all rubbish. You know, even old Greta Thundermouth, you know, she said we got 5 years and all humanity will die in 5 years' time. So that was in 2018. Here we are in 23. We're not dead, Greta. So you got it wrong. They always get it wrong. So it was just my take on the bullshit that's global warming. There's a reason why they keep talking about global warming, and it's to make money. It's to tax people. Green energy tax, things like that, to try and coax everybody into getting a air source heat pump, and they don't work. If you've got a brand new property, they work because of all the what are we going to call it, insulation and all the things that are brand new. If you've got an older property that actually lets a little bit of air in and, you know, stuff, they don't work. So because they don't get as hot as any other form of heating. So you're not very warm, really. And I can only say that because I have an air source heat pump. So I can only tell you from my experience. So when you say you know nothing, well, I know about air source heat pumps a little bit. I know about the lies that Greta Thundergob and everybody else has told us. Do you remember Al Gore? Al Gore said about temperatures rising and the sea levels, they're going to be astronomically increased. And then he bought a house on the beach in the exact area that he said wouldn't exist in 10 years' time. Now, why did he buy that house? Because he knew that he was lying. And that area is still here 25 years later. And it will be in 100 years, you know. It's all bullshit, but you swallow whatever bullshit you want to in life, and that's fine. And if it makes you happy, what happens is you get a bit upset then if somebody talks against your warped mind, your narrative, that this is happening and that's happening. There is no proof that this is happening and that's happening. It's not. There is no proof. We've got a little heat wave coming to the UK. We normally do spring and summer. We have one or two occasionally. And they reckon on the, I think it's the 14th of July, so not long, we've got about a fortnight. Bo, this way please. Good little boy. So we've got about a fortnight of temperatures up to 30 degrees. Now see what they've done there? Heat wave up to 30 degrees. A normal summer 10 years ago would have been somewhere 25 to 40 degrees, anywhere from there, and we would have called it summer, but now we call it heat wave. You see? And there was a, what's the other one? Bo, this way please. Good boy. Come on. God, what did they use this last year in the winter? Oh, was it snow? Snow thunder, was it? Something like that. I have no idea. Not snowstorm. Anyway, so they use these very dramatic terms. You know, global warming. And people thought, oh, warming, that'd be nice. Wouldn't it be lovely if the Earth was a degree or 2 degrees warmer? You imagine we'd save on the heating bills over the winter period, and that would be lovely. Cobwebs. So they thought, okay, we'll get rid of global warming. We'll call it global, global, a bit nasty. You're licking my love. They called it whatever they called it, and they chopped and changed it, and global, one of them was global chaos. Anyway, so now it's global catastrophe, and some people call it global emergency, because they sound a bit more worrisome than global warming or climate change. How can change worry people? Or warming? They're lovely words, really. Come on, Bobo. So I'm against, not against global warming, I'm against the fear mongering rubbish that's spread and nothing ever happens. Now, I made that video, and yes, I upset 3 people, but I don't care. And on the very day after, the idiot Charles, some people call it King, so the idiot Charles, who's been banging on for 55 years about global warming, and he's one of them. Sea levels are going to rise and rise and rise. There will be no ice caps by the year 2015, and it goes on and on and on. He's banged on about it all his life, got nothing right so far. So the day after I made the video, I reckon the idiot Charles was sat in his palace, and he said, "Oh, Camilla darling, pop the old ramblings of Brian. See what he's up to." She said, "Can't you do it?" "Not with these fucking sausage fingers, I can't press the remote," he said. He said, "You do it, you old hag." So she did it, and he watched me, and he thought, bloody global warming. He knows nothing. So he said, "I'll teach him." Anyway, so the following day, he and Sadiq Khan, now, this is what I mean about global warming. These two specialists, right? Two scientific men, two experts on global warming, are they? Or is one a dickhead and one a moron? That's what they are. So this is what I mean. So these arseholes, these two idiots, have now got a clock, and it's the countdown to save the world. So it's 6 years, so it's 2030. The people that produce the most crap into the atmosphere are China and India, and they're doing nothing about that. The countries China and India are doing nothing about it, and the other countries around the world, like the UK, is doing nothing about it. So, you know, even if we did a little bit towards global warming, it doesn't count, because the global warming isn't just around England like a fucking umbrella. So those two arseholes, they press a little red button, and here we go, let's have some fear. We've got 6 years now to save this world, and what will happen in 6 years? They will reset the clock and give us another year, or 5 years, or 50 years, who knows. Now there has been clocks before, if you remember, and again with Al Gore, you know, with who was it who said 500 days? 500 days to save the planet, and there was a countdown. Come on, my friend. There he is. He's a little love. Little nuisance sometimes, keep licking, but I love him. So that's why I just get a bit fed up of it, global warming. And I'm a great believer in freedom of speech, obviously, and that's why it's only ever right for me on this channel, and I can say and do anything I please, because if you don't like it, you switch off, and you might come back another day, you might never come back, and that's fine, whatever. And that is why I've talked about things like mental health issues, and oh, you know, you name it. I don't have you know, I talk about what I want to talk about on this channel, and if I want to talk about global warming, whether I know anything or not, which I don't, I only know stuff from my perspective. Are you really telling me that the idiot Charles and Sadiq Khan know more than me? They don't. Of course they don't. And it's proved that they'll Greta Cabbage Patch knows about as much as me. And it's proved that all the scientists and the experts who have said by the year, blah blah blah, this will happen, that will happen, guaranteed, and it never happens, so they know as much as me. That's lovely. 16 degrees, I told you, didn't I? Good old global warming. Hello. This way, boat. So if you ever see a video and you get a bit upset, that's your problem and not mine, because we don't have a lot in life, but I think freedom of expression, of our ideas, our opinions, our thoughts should remain completely free, whether we're totally wrong or not. I don't think it matters a jot. This way, please. Because how do we find out things if we just remain quiet? If we don't research, if we don't, as I said in the video, if we don't think, cogitate, ponder, you know, if we don't try to see something, then how do we find out how we feel about it? There was a video I watched recently, and I thought that was a deer. It's a tree. I just watched it the other day, and it said Russians know nothing, something like that, because of the way they're taught at school, the way they're brought up, the way that they don't see anything outside of Russia unless the government tell them what to think and what to believe. So they might say, I don't know, whatever, Joe Biden He's a warmonger. Joe Biden's going to press the nuclear bomb. Joe Biden's this. So they all believe that, you know, and that's the end of it. But they all think one way, bless them. And it was quite comical. It's sad, but it was quite comical. But this is what happens sometimes. So this guy was going around, Russian guy. He knew the score. Come on, Bird, this way. Yeah, he knew the score. So he said, the first question he asked about 20 people. He said, what do you think about heterosexuals? Now, he said, before he asked that question, because he's used the word sexual, they will assume that it's something abhorrent, something wrong, something that they've got to be against, something they've been programmed at school, by their parents, by the government, for all of their life. So the answer is quite clear on what they think about heterosexuals. So he started and said to some guy, can I just ask you a question? He said, yeah. He said, what do you think about what do you think about heterosexuals? And he said, I think they're disgusting. He said, why is that? He said, it's not normal. So the guy said, it's not normal then to be heterosexual. You know, in Russian, he was saying this obviously, it's not normal to be heterosexual. He said, of course not. He said, they want to be like, you know, like me and like everybody else, married with children. And he said, okay, thank you. So he spoke to some woman. What do you think about heterosexuals? She said, I think it's absolutely disgusting. And this went on and went on and went on. And there wasn't one person who said heterosexuals. Not one person. And they're so programmed, so conditioned. Their poor little brains, they don't think. And then he asked them certain things about, I don't know, about war, about Marxism, or you know, things that they should have an idea about at least. And they all said what the government has told them since they were a child, because they got no way of thinking it through for themselves, which is a real shame. So I'm a great believer in we should always think things through for ourselves, and if we're wrong, then we're wrong, and that's lovely, because one day somebody out there, it's never going to happen, but let's, you know, one day somebody will say something about climate catastrophe and they'll get it a bit right. One day. I don't think so, but you know. But when you live a life, and you know, when you've lived 60 years and you think back to the things that I put on the end of the video, the hole in the ozone, the depletion of the ice caps and stuff, you know, and nothing ever happens, and the UK would be like Serbia. I don't know where they got it from, but anyway, whatever. And this mini ice age coming our way, and they forgot that within 2 years, and they changed it to the global warming rhetoric. So no, I don't believe it, because it's bullshit, of course. In fact, that was my last word of the video, wasn't it? It's all bullshit. And that's what I think, what I believe. And I had, as I say, 3 people not really upset, but do you know what I mean? And one person said something about you need to do some research or whatever. And I said, well, I have, and this video is the result of my thinking, my research into this bullshit, you know. So that's just my belief, and you may believe something else, you know. But we do seem to live in a world where if you go against the narrative, then people have to diss you, they have to whatever, unfriend you, not believe you, whatever, you know, all of those things and more, because people now can't just accept a different point of view like I can, you know. I'm a Buddhist. Come here, please. No, come here. Thank you. I'm a Buddhist, and my neighbour is a Christian, and that's fine with me. and that's how it should be. Of course it should be. But you know, a lot of people can't accept that, can they? There are differences between people. People feel and think differently about a particular subject. So come on, this way. No, this way. Bodie, this way.
Come
Bodie,
here.
go that way. Bodie.
Hello. So,
Right. Bodie wanted to go running and playing with another dog. There's nowhere really to go unless they go in the woods somewhere. Anyway, whatever. So, where did I get to? I think I got to I'm a sort of a Buddhist and my neighbour is a Christian. And that's, for me, is absolutely fine. Of course it is, you know. If he thinks this way and I think that way, that's great. No worries. No, he said to me just yesterday, he said that, you know, he's a Christian. He said, I was born a Christian and blah, blah, blah. I said, well, you weren't. I said, every baby is born an atheist. Every single baby. And he said, well, no, not really. He said, I was born a Christian. I said, you couldn't have been born a Christian. You didn't come out of the womb thinking, oh, I believe in God and Jesus. You didn't think that, did you? And he said, well, no, I learnt that. I said, exactly. And what happened was your parents, they were either both or one or the other, was Christians, yes? And he said, yeah. And I said, right. So they would have sent you maybe to Sunday school? And he said, I did. And I said, and they might have perhaps read the Bible or, I don't know, whatever. I don't know what religious people really do, but they would have done a series of things. And he said, yeah. I said, so then you believed their way. They were Christians, you believed their way, so you became a Christian. But had your parents have been Muslim, you'd believe in whatever it is Muslims believe in, you know. And he said, yeah. He said, you're right, really. He said, yeah, so every baby born is atheist. And I said, yeah, that's you know, what I not believe. I think I know that. Of course I know that. How can a child come out, how can a baby come out and say my favourite colour's purple? How can they come out and say Joe Biden, he's a bit of a joke? How can they do anything? They have to be taught or shown or trained or programmed or conditioned or educated in a certain way. And he said, so why are you a Buddhist then? And I said, well, I'm a Buddhist because I thought things through for myself, you know. Both my parents were atheist, and as far as I'm concerned, that's the best way of being, because that opens everything and you can look into everything whatsoever. So I looked into George Fox, you know, Quakerism, and I like that. I like the fact that they don't have a leader like a priest or a vicar or anything like that. They don't have anything like that, and they sit in silence basically, and if and when somebody is moved enough to say something, then they do. And I kind of like that. There's nobody overbearing. You know, like, Christianity, you've got a man in a dress, you know, called a vicar or priest or whatever you want to call them, and, you know, they are far superior than you'll ever be, you know. And I don't like all that rubbish. Nonsense. But whatever. You've got to do whatever you do in life, but you are trained, you are conditioned to believe something or to see the world in a certain way. Of course you are. Of course. Hello, Bo. We're going to go up that one today, Bode. That's it. Good boy. But if people can't accept that somebody else has a different point of view, then what happens now, 2023, they get upset and they say, you know, fuck all, I'm unsubscribing. Ta-da. You know, that's now the world we live in. Rather than saying, I really disagree with everything you've said in this video, but, you know, and that's fine. So, hopefully there'll be a better video coming along soon. Now, if somebody said that to me, I'd think, great, you know, they've taken it on board. Maybe they've even looked at it and thought, oh, Bri really knows nothing, you know. So, you know, who knows? Anyway, that's that. So just a quick reminder, I think it's Thursday the 27th or whatever of this month of July, and we've got another premiere with some real jokes. Please don't be offended, or be offended if you want to. Your worldview, your choice. I've got an ache in my bloody leg. Oh, I know why. I woke up the other day, about 3 days ago, and I had a cramp in my calf. I do get that sometimes, either too much or not enough salt, that's what they reckon, I don't know. And it's still hurting even now, but never mind. I try and get out twice a week on one of these sort of bimbles, and this week I've been out 3 times, plus I've played, because it's been, you know, bright and dry and whatever. I played on the days that I don't go out, I play BALL in the garden, so been quite active. Need to go and rest my leg in a bit. Okay, so I think that'll do for this little video. It's not, just to end it, it's not my intention to upset people, but it is my intention to have my own opinions, my own thoughts, my own ideas, and to simply empty my head in these videos. And if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is, and it's a free world, or should be a free world, enough for us to express an opinion. Sadly, I can see a time now, I can see a time very, very soon where you won't be allowed to express your opinion. In fact, on YouTube, I can't give you the list. We're not allowed to talk about things like that. We can't talk about brightly coloured flags everywhere in the town that represent sort of 1% of the population. If we can talk about that if we think one level, but if we think something else, then we can't talk about that. Obviously there's problems with the climate. Joe Biden and Trump and Rishi Sunak and immigrants. It goes on and on and on, that, you know, we have to be very, very careful how we word things now. So sadly that is the way the world is going, but it is not my intention to upset or offend. But if you do take offence, just remember one thing, it's your offence, okay? You choose to be offended, and so what? Because what is offence? Offence is a series of feelings. You're a bit miffed, a bit pissed off, upset, angry, you know, whatever. You want me to talk how you live your life and say the things that you know that are in your head, which you're allowed to have. You're allowed to have these ideas, these opinions, these thoughts, these ways of being, whatever. But if anybody goes against them, then you're going to be upset. Sorry for you if you feel like that. Okay, take care. We'll see you on the premiere, if not before. Cheers. Be well.